Good morning. When I got home from work yesterday, there was a package waiting for me, and in the package was my number 4, number 5 bolt for my jungle carbine. I say number 4, number 5 is because number 5 is actually based on the number 4. So a lot of the action pieces they all go together. So you can buy the bolt for the 4 and it'll fit in the 5, etc. So anyway, so you look at this bolt and you say it's very similar to the number 1 bolt. Here is the number 1 bolt. They're the same length. They have the same basic parts. They have the bolt head, they have the body, and they have the cocking piece in the back. And the extractor in the front and it's in the bolt head. The major difference is in the bolt head. If you look, you can see there's a hook. When you insert the bolt into the receiver, what happens is when you turn it, it ends up, there's a rail that it sits on and locks it in so that when it goes through, it helps for stability. And then when you get to the end, it locks. The number 4 or 5, the bolt head is a lot more streamlined. Doesn't have that big hook. When you put the bolt in, there's ridges, or not ridges, but grooves that the bolt actually sits in as it goes through. And then at the top, there's also a space that this goes through that keeps it locked in. And then when you cock it, it locks in also. I'll show you here. I want to check, one of the things I want to check is to see if the bolt actually fits inside the rifle itself. I think that's a good start right there. Sorry, I don't mean to go down low there. Okay, there you go. There, it just clicked past that. Remember we talked about the bolt release, the bolt head release? Well, that was just it that I just pushed down on when I pushed the bolt in. Now, if you look, see this right here is going in between these two pieces of the receiver, and it's keeping it straight. Now there's a ridge that the bolt head is sitting on as it goes down and it gets inside the receiver. Now this part right here, this metal part that I said was good for holding it, when you cock it and you close the bolt, you can see where this thing rotates through and actually helps secure the bolt inside the bang, and it helps secure it in. So it's got that extra lug on the bottom that helps lock it in, and then it has up in the front here the lug that helps lock it in. So it's pretty secure. The 303 round is a pretty good round, and I guess I want to make sure that it's secure. So we hit the bolt release. Easy for me to do. There you go. Okay, let's go over the parts of the bolt. What we've got is, this is the bolt body. It's got the handle on it. There's that ridge that I was talking about that goes in and helps lock the first guide and then lock the bolt in place. And it's got this little lug underneath that locks the bolt into place when it's getting ready to fire also. This is the bolt head. It rotates. And this is the cocking piece in the back. So the way that the cocking piece works is up underneath, and I don't have mine yet, I'm still waiting for it to come. Up underneath is this is the sear, and it goes in the back here, back behind the catch for the magazine. And this little piece sticks up like this, so that when the bolt comes in, when you put your bolt in, there's a little notch, and the sear gets caught in the notch. And when the sear gets caught in the notch, it cocks the the bolt. So there you go. So it's there, and it cocks it. Oop. So the sear is holding on to. You probably can't see it because hold on to it. So when you pull the trigger, the sear is pulled out of the way, and it causes it to fire, and then the firing pin comes out. That's pretty simple how it works, and the firing pin is actually goes from nose to butt here, and it connects to the cotton piece back here. That's a screw that holds it in, and then that's the actual firing pin right there. The screw that holds it in, I'm going to take the screw out now. The screw that holds it in, I loosened it already. In the previous one, I had problems getting the thing unscrewed. It holds it because what you want to do is adjust how far your firing pin is going to stick out of there when you fire it. And one way to do that is by screwing and unscrewing the firing pin. And once it's where it's supposed to be, you tighten the screw in the back and it stays there. And I'm unscrewing the bolt head. Okay. Now the Enfields are different, where they require a special tool to take your firing pin out. I guess you could. No, you can't do it by hand, but you'd have to use your tool. It's got 2 grooves on it, and I'll show you. You stick it on, you grab your firing pin, and you start unscrewing it. And you can see, it's unscrewed. Those are the threads in the back that hook onto your cocking piece. If you look on the front, I don't know if you can see it or not. I get that goddamn Parkinson's. There you go. So then there you go. That's the and this fits down on top of that, so that when you screw it and unscrew it, which makes it kind of difficult when you're um, trying to get the firing pin to be protruding at the proper amount, because we're talking about thousandths of an inch, and what you have to do is take the head off, unscrew it a little bit, put the head back on, measure it, and you have to keep doing that until you get it to where you want it to be. So those are the major pieces, and then you have your head, and you can see this is the extractor right here, and it's on a spring. Let's see if I can get. I haven't tried to get this out yet. I need a different screwdriver. Let's get this little bitty screw here. So we should be getting more parts in for this rifle. I ordered a lot of them, and one of the things that's going to hold us up is the wood itself. And the wood itself it's very expensive, and part of it is that they only made these rifles for about 4 years, so there's really not a whole lot of them out there, and I guess demand and the price and the demand is there. So there's the screw for the extractor. The extractor has a little spring to it, and it fits up underneath. All right, so there's the extractor. Looks like any other extractor that you might have. And then the spring for the extractor. The spring for the extractor. So it pushes the extractor down. So anyway, so those are the parts of the oh, the bolt head itself. Um, Headspace. We'll talk about headspace eventually here, but headspace is actually, for me, is the maximum allowable. Um, now the measurement is the maximum allowable space that you can have between your bolt and the round itself. And it's complex how they measure it all, and people that are really educated in this will probably disagree with me in my definition, but to me that's what it is. So then it's usually measured, like I said, in thousandths of an inch. So what happens is if your bolt and your receiver don't match up, and you have a long chamber, what happens there is you've got too much room. This thing goes in and it's going to wiggle around because the bolt head doesn't come and flush up against it like it's supposed to. So what you have to do is then they take and they, from what I understand, they mill some of the end of the barrel off to make it shorter. And if you have a short chamber, they have to go in and they have to uh, route some of it out so that this will fit inside. Well, one of the ways that the Enfields have gotten around it is they have different size bolt heads, and they go from 0 to 3. Although there is a 4 out there somewhere, and each one is a different length. So if it's too loose and you have a 1, then you get a 2 or a 3, and that way there you make up that space that the gap that's supposed to be in between. Um, anyway, that's the I'm at about my time limit here. Um, I got more parts coming. We're going to keep working on this project. It's going to be a little bit slow at times, but we'll, we'll get it done. And I'm really excited about this one. This is one that I've wanted for a long time. The jungle carbine, and there'll be more to come. Um, and thanks for watching. I hope I didn't confuse myself with how this bolt works and so forth. It's actually a pretty simple mechanism, and that's about it. Well, thanks for watching.